Have boots on the ground. The third mistake I see fashion startups making when they start to produce apparel in Vietnam is trying to manage production by email. My advice is to have boots on the ground to do what I call sit on the factory. Your brand is like your baby. Would you ever leave your baby at home alone while you went out to see a movie? Parents hire babysitters to have peace of mind. My point is, hire someone to take care of your brand in Vietnam to have peace of mind. This is a picture of a good factory based in the center of Vietnam. From where I live in the south of Vietnam, it's a plane ride away. I never placed an order in this factory because I did not want to jump on a plane every time there was any issue that could not be easily resolved by email. Let's face it, factories don't really care about your brand the way you care. It's just another day at the office for them. If something isn't right, 9 times out of 10, they will avoid addressing the issue. That issue may not be a big deal to them, but to you, the brand owner, it's a matter of life or death. I speak Vietnamese well, but still have to be super careful to understand and not be misunderstood. Do you know that when Vietnamese people say, get to the outside of the road, it actually means get to the inside? This confused the heck out of me when trying to tell a taxi driver to get off the highway and onto the frontage road. All languages have nuances that can lead to confusion, which can lead to costly mistakes. Here is an example of a 3-letter word in Vietnamese that has 4 different meanings. Cho means to give. Cho means dog. Ch means market. And ch means to wait. Whether you are speaking the same language or a foreign language, communication is the key to success, and the best communication is face-to-face communication regardless of what language you are speaking. Have you ever explained something to someone and you get the deer in the headlights look? They smile and nod as if they understand, but your sixth sense tells you they don't really understand. I have seen this happen many times in Vietnam. I will use myself as an example first. If I'm speaking Vietnamese with a Vietnamese friend, I listen carefully to them, and I think I understand, but in fact, I don't. My brain plays a trick on me and tells me to pretend and change the subject quickly. Basically, I feel stupid for not understanding, and my natural instinct is to quickly move on to another topic. When this first happened to me, I was surprised, and I could totally sympathize with the factory workers who pretended to understand me when speaking in English, only to come to find out that clearly they did not. I call this the deer in the headlights syndrome. Many times I speak English with workers in the factory because their English is better than my Vietnamese, and they tell me they understand, but it becomes glaringly obvious that they didn't understand later on down the road. This issue happens to us all, regardless of our language abilities. So how can we manage this problem of glazing over communications, miscommunications? Well, one thing is for sure. It is easier working in person than trying to catch and resolve communication problems by email. Why? Because in person, you can read their body language to detect signs of confusion. You can ask them to demonstrate understanding, either by having them repeat back to you the idea, or having them demonstrate understanding using physical objects or motions. So, have or hire boots on the ground to overcome the deer in the headlights syndrome. Vietnam culture consists of both the old and the new way of thinking and doing. Remember that many older Vietnamese people lived through a war. Their way of thinking and doing things is unique. Here are some cultural differences to illustrate my point. As a child, I was taught to wait 30 minutes after you ate to jump back in the swimming pool. Vietnamese let their children jump in the pool with food in their mouth. I was taught to always say please and thank you. Vietnamese people rarely say please and thank you. They show respect other ways. They believe that drinking ice water when you have a cold, flu, or sore throat is bad. This was news to me. These examples just remind us that beliefs and values are different around the world. The most important cultural difference that applies to manufacturing is that you are not supposed to shame anyone. You are supposed to save face at all costs. This means that if someone makes a mistake in the factory, they will not admit it, and no one will call them out. Consequently, mistakes go unreported until it's glaringly obvious. At that point, a solution is implemented without figuring out the root cause, and sometimes not implementing corrective measures to prevent it from happening again. When working in Vietnam, we must respect this concept of saving face and find ways to identify problems quickly and resolve them without blaming a person. Logistics needs to be monitored closely to ensure no delays. This map shows all the shipping vessels waiting to get into the Ho Chi Minh City Bay, where there are many shipping terminals. Traffic jams on the road happen in Vietnam due to road construction, which can lead to goods arriving late to the port and missing the boat. Goods can also be held up at customs if the paperwork is not perfect and thank you money has not been paid to the right people. You need someone on the ground anticipating these problems and ready 24/7 to fix, for example, logistics problems quickly. Quality control issues arise that must be solved quickly. Even with in-house QC and third-party QC inspections, mistakes happen. For example, the third-party QC company you hire may reject so many garments that overall the QC inspection fails, and then there is a standoff between you and the factory. If you are not there to see with your own eyes just how bad, or not so bad, the mistakes are, then how can you decide easily to cancel the whole shipment or not? Or you may request a color fastness test, and the color fastness is below standard because the dyeing factory used low-quality inks. How will you easily resolve this problem? By email. Often, QC mistakes are not a deal killer, but someone needs to make the call, and if you have boots on the ground, it's easier to make the right call quickly. I often hear clients say, I don't need anyone on the ground because my product is so basic and simple. If you are just ordering out of a catalog and there are no changes being made to the product, then maybe it's not necessary to have boots on the ground. The problem is that the kind of manufacturing we're talking about is not ordering out of a catalog. Your designs are unique, and I guarantee there will be modifications to the design throughout the production process. These modifications need to be handled quickly. The main reason you need boots on the ground is to manage change. Working directly with factories by email can be done if you are doing simple products like a coffee cup or a keychain, but not apparel. Here you see me with a baseball cap factory owner and his merchandiser. Even with me working on the ground with them, we had to go through 3 rounds of samples, and it took 2 months. This is after my client spent 6 months going back and forth by email with another factory and no success. If you don't have boots on the ground, then you are at the mercy of the factory. The reality is that there are many delays that happen during the design, development, and sampling process. If you want to proceed quickly, you need someone on the ground that is highly motivated. Motivated means paid well. So what options do you have? You can manage everything by email, you can hire a local staff, or you can hire a local agent, or you can live in Vietnam and work directly with factories. If you only have one simple style, then managing by email might work. Give it a try. Hiring a local staff is possible, but the hiring process will cost between $200 to $500 for advertising your job and receiving the CVs and interviewing the candidates. And you will have to pay between $700 to $900 per month to attract an English-speaking staff that has garment merchandising experience and a strong network of factories. Hiring a local agent is an option, but they charge 5 to 9% and expect high volume orders. High volume means 5,000 pieces per style and up. I recommend you live in Vietnam for a few months and work directly with the factories. The cost of living will be around $1,000 to $2,000 per month, depending on your living standard. This is 𝗀𝗄𝗳𝗁 working with a factory owner. He paid me to go and visit 4 factories in a day. He then spent 8 months working in Vietnam with multiple factories to complete the design, development, and production of his first products. Here, he is discussing fabric options with merchandisers in another factory. I'm happy for him and proud of him because I helped him get started, and then he was the boots on the ground that led to his success. This is Aaron, and here is his success story. He started with $50,000 and a 1-year time frame in Vietnam. He wrote, I had a dream to build the world's only bike-to-work backpack capable of transporting a business suit crease-free. Within a year of starting out, I had done that. My prototypes were not that stylish, but they were functionally sound and could transport suits in my backpack without wrinkling my blazer and dress pants. Here you see his first prototypes. He went on to write, I met with the backpack manufacturer regularly to review every aspect of the pack. We went over details like straps, connectors, zippers, zipper pulls, fabric, trims, interior fabric, and netting options. I went to the factory frequently to meet with the design team and then the production team. I was present during both production and shipping. Building a product for the first time requires a lot of face-to-face communication that cannot be replicated on Zoom or a phone call or email. Have boots on the ground. End quote. In the next 3 lessons, we will go over the first 3 steps you need to take to get started manufacturing apparel in Vietnam. The first step is to fill in your quantity breakdown list.
Hi, thanks for listening to the end. Can you see how producing your product in Vietnam will grow your business? Are you ready to grow? When is a good time to visit Vietnamese factories to get price quotes and samples? Contact us at vietnamfactorytours.com for more information about our consulting, factory introductions, and tours. Hire us to get you inside and find the right factory fast. Thanks for listening and have a great day. Remember, thoughts are things. Where there's a will, there's a way. Welcome to Vietnam.